A pleasant good night, good night, good night, good night to the world. You don't know. It's yours truly, God redeemed to the world. Me and none other than our Thursday night at Topic Live producer. Yes, sure enough, in our Thursday night at Topic Live shirt with our black frame glasses and our gold ear. Yes, yes, yes. And our pretty background, Japan, all of them things there. Yes, yes, yes. Things are happen, things are going and things are go down. Yes, at the levels. You don't know, ultimately, we give God thanks for you being our Thursday night at Topic Live producer. We thank you for the topics and all that you come up with so that we can have a discussion on a Thursday night. It has been helping much people and much persons are learning from it also. We want to thank God for Kayon, who have been designing the flyers and doing her ones and twos to make Thursday night a Topic Live special whenever we come. We not only sound good, but we look good also. Yes, we want to thank our special guest, Dr. Lauren Henry Johnson, tonight, who is on with us. And let me tell you something. She's a very good doctor. Yes, she not buy her doctorate off of internet, or she not buy it from Amazon. You see the levels? Yes, she studied long to get it. Yes, and she a doctor long time. Yes, and we give God thanks for her. And every time she come to this forum, her contribution is great, tremendous. And persons are always looking forward to have the doc in the building. We want to give God thanks for you, Dr. Johnson, for taking the time out. We know your evenings are very busy. Yes, and we want everybody, please, tell your friend, your enemy, your haters, and everybody to run come quick. Because guess what? Dr. Johnson have so much to do, but she took the time out to give us the first hour of her night or evening, and we want to make use of that hour. Yes, so let everybody know, get them popcorn, get them drinks, get them food, get them supper, get them boom by, get everything together. Some people bed from 2 o'clock and sit down and wait on this. Yes, so the levels, well, we are here right now. Thursday night at Topic Live is where we discuss issues that plague in real life. Yes, issues that people struggling with, fighting with. Hence, sometimes the topics cause the spirited people who are too earthly minded and not earthly good to say that we are crazy, to say that we are perverted, to say all kind of things because they're afraid to talk about sex. Them not talk about it, they only do it. Yes, the levels. Well, we talk about it and we're married, so we're legal. Yes, the levels. Yes, yes, yes. And we want to get our people. One of the things I love about the Bible don't really care only about our spiritual man. It care about the full circle. Yes, the levels. And we give God thanks for that. So remember, the views expressed tonight is that of our own expression. Yes, and sometimes our own opinion too. But guess what? My speaking out of my passion. You might say me cross, angry, or miserable. Nah. We're just passionate about things that we talk about, especially when we see that it's helping others. It's the levels. So don't get vexed and say we are talking about you tonight. It's the levels. We are talking about everybody, all we serve to. It's the levels. So let everyone know that we are on and we are going red. Sex toys, Papa Jesus. And only husband and only woman and man then cheat with Papa Jesus. Some of them have the woman in the drawer. Some of them have the man in the drawer. Yes, some of them wearing the vibration panty, and when the remote started to get a wire, they move and jiggling and like them a dance to music when nobody not here. Or something are going down there. Yes, to the levels. So tonight, just let everyone know that we are on, and it's always a pleasure to come with you with these topics. Remember, next week, Thursday night, we are going to be dealing with prayer and all of that to close out this. And then the next Thursday, we are going to talk about homosexuality in the church. Yes, not Batman in the toe, a truth, a reality. So we are going to be talking about a lot of things that nobody want to talk about. It's at the level. So right now, I don't talk. and turn over to none other than our Thursday night Hot Topic Live producer. Her name is Althea Marie Gordon. Yes, in the levels. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, Mr. George Redeemed to the world, and our Dr. Johnson, who is here with us this evening. Thank you so very much for joining us. Yes, good evening to each and every one who have tuned in, those who are already put in through your greetings. Those of you who are in the background, in the overflow, thank you for being a part of our Thursday night Hot Topics Live. It's already 4 weeks. Oh my God. It's already 4 weeks talking about sex toys. We have gone over several avenues, yes, and covered a lot of grounds. Tonight, as Mr. George Redeem said, that we will be looking into the medical aspect. So, if you have questions for the doctor, don't be shy to ask the questions. You may not be the one who is using sex toys. However, you may know someone who uses sex toys and someone who need to be educated about it. So whatever questions you have, I will be looking out for your questions so that they can be submitted to Dr. Johnson. Do not let the hour pass and you do not get the answers that you need. All right? Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Johnson to say hello to the viewers.
Let me say a pleasant good night to everyone. It is a hot topic tonight for real. I never thought I'd be talking on this topic, but thanks to Hot Topics Live, I have a topic that has made me do a little research and even put some thoughts together. And I'm anticipating your questions. And I want to say that the definition I saw for toy in the dictionary is something regarded as providing amusement. Okay, so we're going to have an amusing hour together. I also a little opportunity just to apologize because my husband will be a bit late. Bless you, sis. I don't know if you want the opening statement.
Thank you. Not as yet. Thank you for that, Dr. Johnson. Yes, Pastor Johnson wears many hats and has different engagement prior to coming on set tonight, and we do understand that. Reverend Fiona, she will be here as well. Life is busy. People are busy, and we do understand that sometimes they are not able to commit for a full 2 hours program or whatever the case may be. So now I'm just going to go over the roll call. And I see, yes, Mr. Redeem, guess who is in the house? Guess who is here for Hot Topic? Not that she need them. Oh, Lord, help me. We have Rochelle Huber in the house, and she's saying, good night, everyone. Blessings. Have a great night. Yes, yes, yes. We know she's going to be spicing up chat. She is going to do that. We have Dawn in the house. She's saying, good evening. Jennifer Walker is saying, good evening, everyone. Yes, we have Mary Phillips, who is saying, good evening, everyone. And, just in case you're wondering, okay, why are we so casual tonight? We're not saying sisters and all that. Don't worry about that. It's Thursday night Hot Topic Live. Fully aware that there are many Jumpstart viewers here, and that's okay. Tomorrow we hear Sister Dawn, Sister Jennifer, Minister Phillips, Thursday night. Yeah, just let your hair down, get your popcorn, and have some fun.
Tomorrow we hear Sister Uba, but for tonight is Mrs. Uba.
Yes, sir. We have Sue Richards here who is saying good night to our panel. Ha! Join my seat for a full night. I hope you have your popcorn, some water or tea, whatever you like to drink. We have Dion here. That's Dion White Williams, who is saying good night to everyone. Have.
Mm.
You have to say all her name. That's Dion White Williams / DD / Indie / Lady Pink Panther / I Up There / Temperature High and all of them stuff. Mountain Peak and all of that. Yes, yes.
And we know that no one else but Mr. Redeem himself who has given all those names. Because guess what? He is name calling Turbo. Hats off. Got the trophy. Full trophy. No sharing. Yeah, so that's Dion, and she's saying blessed night. Yes, we have the right honorable. Yes, Anika Campbell, who is here tonight. Yes, yes, yes. She's saying good night, Pastor Redeemed. Sir, go ahead and say something to her.
Yes, man. I have to say, a privilege, always an honor to have Madam Consulate stopping in with us as often as she can. A very busy woman, wear a lot of hats, and she's wearing them quite well. She's doing a fantastic job here, representing the Jamaican people. And one of the things I always admire about her is her commitment to God in prayer and fasting. So, Madam Consulate, we want to tell you, it's always a privilege to have you stepping in with us. And we know that it's not that you have nothing to do, but you love us so much that you refuse to just pass by and not stop in the room. Welcome and a privilege. All the Jamaican in the house, yes, when you see that name, Onika Campbell, she is none other than the Right Honorable Dr. Onika Campbell. Yes, she got her doctorate and she never buy it on the internet. She studied hard for it. You see what I'm saying? Madam Consulate, we're proud of you. Big up to Jamaicans. Yes, yes, yes. Back over to you.
All right. And we have your longtime forever sister, Lorna Scott. She's saying good night. Dion Salmon is here saying good night, everyone. Kenisha Campbell is saying good night, everyone. Patricia James Houghton is saying good night, wonderful people of God. Your sister, Alicia Beaton, she is here saying good night to the panel. Hot topic. You know it. You started it.
You say she's here like you know which part she did. Eh?
She's somewhere
cage.
Nice and hot.
She's in cage.
Yeah.
She's in quarantine.
She's on lockdown.
Well, ask her how the banger feel. I pray for you, my sister. Yes.
Yes. So we have Joan Clark is here saying good evening, family. Manila Eddie. She is saying hello, everyone. Have a blessed evening. Yes. We have Sam over in YouTube. Hey, Sam. Good to see ya. She's saying good night, Jumpstart family. Yes, Dawn is saying she's with me. Oh, she's with me. That's so nice, Sister Dawn. That's so nice. We have Nicoda Lustel saying good night, family of God. All right. Sister Alexa is like, not funny. Yeah, I remember when you went through it when you were in Jamaica. Doing it all over again. But before you know it, the time will be gone. You see, at least you're in quarantine with your husband. So that's good. That's a very good thing. And you don't need none of what we're talking about tonight. All right. So at this time, we're going to be doing our theme song.
From the bottomless pit, but my aim was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation, triumphantly. Oh, Jesus, this songs of freedom, that's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No man to ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. Allah shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you else to say, Jesus has written. It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but yourself can free our mind. Whoa, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop off the time. Allah shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look. Some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you also say, Jesus of freedom, that's all I got. Redemption song, all I ever have. Redemption song, sounds of freedom, sounds of freedom.
Yes, big tune that Pastor Rick.
Yeah.
Big tune. Yes, people will be freed from a lot of stuff by the time we are done with this topic. People have been getting their freedom. People have been, because they're enlightened to what's happening. So people are getting their freedom. People are getting educated about what's happening. And tonight it's going to go even deeper. At this time, Mr. George Redeem, everything is now in your hands, sir. Please don't forget to write your questions down. I'll be looking out for them.
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always up. It's one song that will never die in the Bob Marley cat. I mean, all his songs will live on. But you see that second verse, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. It's a lot of people problem. They can't think out of the comfort zone. They can't think out of the box. They refuse to believe that if they change the way they think of certain things, they might get a better result, the desired result, and all of these sort of things. So hence, that is why we're not having a song like Pass Me Not, O Gentle Savior as the theme song for this, right? It is not appropriate to what we are thinking. Now, one might get spirited with it and say, sure, but however, we choose that song for the words of the song, to be the theme song for this. One of the things we want you to do, this is the 4th week we've been coming to you and been telling you and been sharing with you. We want to know your view on this. So these are some of the things you can write also, not just your question, but just tell us your view so that we can all look into it together. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving Dr. Johnson the opportunity earlier, because she only have an hour to spend with us, right? So that at the end of her section, we can have a time for Q&A before she have to leave, question and answer, right? This is what we do all the time. Dr. Johnson and her husband, me, my wife, we travel, we do seminars, this is us at our best. You see what I'm saying? So we want you to get interactive tonight, not just with question, your outlook, your view on this, so that we can reason it out together. Father, we give you thanks, we glorify you, we magnify you, and we lift up an eye, because you are God, and there is none like unto you. Father God, you cares about the complete man, not just our spiritual life, but our moral life, our social life, our health, our wealth, everything concerning us. That is why your son could write to us to say that he wish above all things that we prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospereth. I pray, mighty God, that you'll rest your hand on all three of us. Lord God, Mr. Fiona soon come in, Bishop Johnson soon come in. Father God, rest your hand on us that we can help your people across the threshold. A lot of folks are, mighty God, are facing this reality, mighty God, where they are hooked on a sex toy, whether it be a sex toy that is made by man or the sex toy in the flesh. I pray tonight, God, we bind every trickeries of the enemy, mighty God, and you will help us to go in depth with this, that at the end of tonight, mighty God, others will be blessed, others will be helped, and others will be delivered. God, we have been getting the phone calls, we have been getting the texts from others who saying thank you for talking about this, because it is a help. God, I remember one of the voice note I got is from a woman that was molested, mighty God, and because of that molestation, mighty Father, she is still suffering the effect after that. I pray tonight that God, that you will take us to a place where everyone at the end of it would say it is good for us to be here, physically, spiritually, mentally, medically, and emotionally. Father God, have your way, we ask you in Jesus' name. And somebody give him thanks. Glory be to God. Ladies and gentlemen of cyber world, black and white, bleach, Indian, Chinese, and Japanese, wherever you're from, sitting viewing this tonight, let me introduce to you none other than my dear friend. Is a good thing to have a doctor friend. Whoop, Jesus, things are going for me. Yes. She is the only wife of my best friend, yes, and my pastor, my bishop. Yes, and that is Bishop Johnson. Yes, as he would always say, she went to Jamaica to study doctorate, and she returned back home with a man and 4 children. They said the levels, I saw him say, and I see him say it go. So let me tell you, she's more than qualified. She don't just come by in the medical field. She worked over 20 years in Jamaica, and she's back home here almost 7-8 years. So she's well-rounded in what she does. You see what I'm saying? It's the first doctor who said to me, Journal, I have to tell you the truth. You might have to get an injection. Yes, I'm in love her for that. So ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome none other than the first lady of our church, my pastor, my friend, my bishop wife, none other than Sister Dr. Lauren Henry Johnson. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Brother Journal. Yes, Evangelist Journal and Sister Althea for this opportunity to share. Well, as I said, medical perspective on sex toys. Well, I said to myself, everybody knows what sex is, right? But for the start of this evening, I thought, okay, what really is a toy? Because at first I said to myself, isn't a toy usually for children? But this is an adult topic and an adult setting. And the way the dictionary defines a toy is actually a thing regarded as providing amusement. Okay, so a toy doesn't have to be for a child only, because of course, not only children should enjoy themselves and be amused, but also adults. So toys are made of different materials, and a few sex toys that I know of, the vibrator, the penis stroker, and I'm sure there are others that I need to be informed about. These are usually made from different types of material. So I thought that we realized, yes, Brother Journal?
The choice of words a while ago, right, that some sex toys that you know of. We have some people here, we're dying to say yes, right? When they use the term you know of, they would probably think it's somewhere lurking in a drawer, right? Because we have some people in the background here who well want to hear that it is so good and okay to have it. I want to know my pastor working good in all right. You see what I'm saying? She knows them by knowledge. Yes?
Amen, brother, you got it right.
Out there. Yes.
Right. And definitely the penis stroker I just learned about in doing the research is to go that far. I didn't know there was specifically a penis stroker. And I was looking at the pictures to advertise and saying, wow, I really need some help. But I want you to know that in my research, the vibrator, which is a commonly known sex toy, I learned that years ago in medicine, it was actually used to treat hysteria. That's when somebody is really in a situation where they're hysterical, you know. They are nearly going mad, you can basically say. Not really going mad, but not mad, but, you know, at the point where they are hysterical, you know, bad news, whatever, good news. So I thought that was something that I would also share as well. I want to say that, you know, in this day and age, and also this topic is in a time when there's a pandemic as well, I want to stress that it's so important to clean toys, not only for children, but even for sex use, definitely for those who have the sex toys. We need to ensure that these are properly cleaned before and after, because just like anything, they too can spread infections. People may say, well, I don't share my toys, in case I'm hearing some person saying, but even if you don't share it, just to ensure that you stay healthy, that's one of the things I want to reinforce. I also want to say that most of the research that I did was really through Google, and there are some articles which I found that can even advise in terms of how to clean the sex toys, depending on the material that they're made of. Some can be porous or non-porous, and porous just means that they have these microscopic holes in them that actually could hold bacteria, dirt, soap, even perfume. And so it's very important to get some guidance in terms of how to clean, because just like children have special toys, and just like some of us, it will be books that we enjoy. We want them to last instead of being damaged or to damage persons at all. So it's very important to understand. For example, on Healthline, I found that if the material is made of elastoma, latex, jelly, rubber, and porous, you can just clean that at room temperature with just water and a soapy washcloth, basically like cleaning your own body. However, you have some toys that would be porous, yes, and they're made of silicone. In those cases, it's better to use warm water and, of course, soap. And there are others, you know, those made of glass, there are a variety of materials. And I want to refer you to Healthline. Do a little reading to make sure that you're kept safe. I want to also go on to say that I realized it was also advised that when using sex toys, it's better to use a condom too. You know, I was asked about a question actually concerning a lady who had some bleeding that was mentioned. And I want to say that in the case where your toys are causing you harm, you need to stop. Yeah. So after stopping, if you're having something like bleeding, remember that your skin is actually open. You need to also seek medical attention. Is wanting to talk with persons in public. But each of us have a little history from coming on this program before. I've mentioned it's so important that the doctor is able to converse, and in some cases you actually have to look, because something can be minor, but if left and not given the proper attention, it can become major. So I want to bring in that point. Even with toys, we need to be able to stop when it's time to stop. You know, yes, most of us as adults will have our children, and the same way they need to have discipline. And I did overhear when my husband was speaking last week as well. It's so important to watch what habits we create. That's very, very important. So definitely to that lady, if she's out there, or others who wondered what the answer to her question is, if she's having heavy bleeding and so on, and she's noticing it is related with the sex toys, or even if it's not related, time to stop, get a check, and then get the best guidance for going forward. Now, there's certain persons too that are ill. Not everybody has a nice, healthy husband like me, or will be satisfied with a spouse in a marriage of 20 plus years, right? It took time and teaching. We went through marriage counseling. We've been to retreats with Brother Journal. Not only Brother Journal, but we've had other couples guide us. Older couples, our parents guide us, our friends guide us. It takes time to really enjoy yourself, and communication is so important, because your partner is not going to just be able to read your mind, right? So there are some persons that they've already bought their toy, and to be honest, I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm going to just love you, guide you as a medical personnel. I'm not giving you any permission to continue. I'm saying to you, I don't want any people to be spending money on those toys in this time when you can have some natural toys and do something else with your money. That's my personal opinion. But for those of you that already have the toys, I want you to take proper care of yourselves and stay healthy. And I want to reinforce that it's very important that you can stop when you need to stop. Meaning when you have to do your work, you have to do your work, right? You shouldn't be there sneaking away from the boss to be playing with the toys. Husband and wives, okay, if you're using it together to stimulate each other, you have your own discussion. Whatever you want to do in your sex life, after all, that's up to you. That's my opinion as well. But if it endangers you in any way, then you need to follow some guidelines, okay? So there was another concern in terms of, I heard mention of someone who, whether or not they're here tonight or they're going to watch it later, they were concerned about a person who may have cancer. There are a variety of cancers. Some of them can be treated and persons come to full recovery. Some of them, while they're being treated, the person can be very weak, even as a male partner, be unable to perform. So of course, in terms of stroking, or actually what we call foreplay instead of literal sexual intercourse, may be an attempt that's tried, but persons may actually decide to use a toy. In that case, I don't see a problem with it. Now, the person who has, let's say, a cancer or another illness, and they are thinking of getting the toy, they don't have the toy, it's still wiser to speak with who is your healthcare provider first. So I'm a general doctor who realizes, for example, in prostate cancer and even in other prostatic diseases, even in diseases like hypertension, even though that person asks about prostate cancer, you can find that the whole desire is not even there, okay? In hypertension, sometimes we can adjust the medications, okay? In cancers, sometimes you will need a little help, okay? So in terms of using it on the person who has cancer, again, I want to reinforce, it's very important to discuss it with your medical doctor and understand all the pros and cons, because we don't want to endanger you at all. For the spouse, though, you can assist the spouse with the toy. So I just want to make sure I added in those. I also just made a little point again in terms of when going to play, it's better to use a condom also to prevent sexually transmitted infections, not just general infections, but also sexually transmitted infections. I want to say also that I've noticed that there's a recommendation to use silicone or water-based lube-like liquid sassy, Yuba lube oil. The oil-based lubes themselves, what they do, they actually decrease the integrity of the condom, all right? So you can find that there may be breakage in the condom, so it's better to have, as I said, water-based or silicone-based, as I said, liquids to assist with these toys than to use oil-based liquids. All right, so lubricants, in other words, better to have water-based lubricants or silicone. So I think that's where I want to begin the evening, because I heard that I must also leave space for questions, and I know I may not have touched certain things, but you will give me an opportunity to touch. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Just one quick thing, sir. I'm just trying to go back through some of the comments and stuff like that from last week. And one person is saying, what is your response to the spouse that is not able to satisfy or meet the needs of their spouse because of health issues, and the health issues that are long life issues?
Okay, then. So basically, first of all, even before going out to purchase any toy, because after all, the topic is medical perspective on sex toys, there has to be some communication. So more than likely, that person sounds like they've communicated with the medical personnel. They understand the full issue, and they need to also discuss with that partner. Now, it's important when they discuss with the partner, both the partner and the person who wants to be satisfied are going to be in agreement on the way forward. All right, that's very important. So if the effort in terms of the sex toy will help, as I said, it's quite understandable to work with your partner because you've actually discussed it and agreed upon it, all right? So, like in the case of the vibrator, the partner doesn't have to do anything. But as I said, as spouses and understanding marriage, and also being a Christian medical practitioner, I want to encourage that discussion. Now, another thing too that can help is also in terms of setting the tone. So it's not only the literal toys that touch the organs, but also in terms of the music, the environment in the music, also in terms of how persons are treating others that would help to bring about that full satisfaction. Does that help, Sister Althea? You think I've done justice?
I believe so. It's, again, up to the individuals. They may have discussed it and she needed further information as how to go about doing it, because it's a long-term problem and they're trying to find a way of how to get it solved. So definitely.
Right. And they actually may need ongoing help. Some persons do well in even sometimes when you have group therapy as well. You know, well, this is a form of group therapy because persons are actually getting a chance to express and other persons are getting a chance to understand. And then they have other ideas that can come up. So not everybody needs to necessarily be in a psychologist's office or have a one therapist with a couple. These means discussions, but some persons, they also need that one-on-one at times with their physicians who understand even in terms of the full details of how medications can affect persons. So good move. I like that. I like that question as well.
Okay. One other thing. Sorry, Mr. Redeem, but when you were going through your opening statement and you were saying about initially it was used for patients who were suffering from hysteria. I was looking over the same thing during my research. But as you were speaking about it, it brought me back to when I was a young child in Portland, Jamaica. And we had a Sunday school teacher. Now, very lovely lady, but all of a sudden, at one point in her life, she just started to doing crazy stuff. Like, you looked at her, she seemed pretty normal until she opened her mouth, until she started to make some kind of movement and whatever. And as young as I was, I remember one Sunday we went to Sunday school because they would do it at her house in the afternoon after church. And we went to Sunday school, but she was not there waiting for us like she normally would. It so happened, that's when we found out that there was a problem. It so happened that they actually brought a male person in the picture to see if that could help her, because they were thinking that, okay, she's in the church for so many years, she's not married, she's getting older, and her problem could be because of sex deficiencies, right? And they actually brought a male person there to help her out.
Okay, awesome. And you see, we really need each other. We need each other not only for discussions, but also to some persons, things may not necessarily work out how they've wanted them to with a partner. For those who actually are in a relationship and married already, talking about even like your fears, your past, and then what best for satisfaction if you're literally married, because marriage is something that can be kept together. It's not necessarily that it's impossible, but satisfaction, maximum satisfaction in every aspect of a person's life, emotionally, physically, even like financially, because you even have persons who their sex drive will change, even if financially things are changing or people going through a stressful situation. So, I would think because she was a Christian, even encouraging her to start a relationship and then seeing eventually where it goes, because we really have appetites, not only physical appetite, spiritual appetite, social appetite. Health is really the social, physical, mental well-being. It's the total man being balanced. So not just the absence of any illness. So it's very important that persons' needs are met. And persons also have different beliefs. They also have different things that they enjoy. When I said in terms of partners can have their sexual intercourse in any way that they want, of course, I mean male and female partners, right? Because this homosexuality thing, even though it's accepted in larger places, I notice, or in larger first world countries, is something as Christians we really can't accept. But once persons are married or they're in a relationship that is heading to marriage, they need to start discussing what will help each person to be satisfied and to keep discussing it and to keep ensuring that they do what they should so that their partner can be at their best and that they can supply the best for their partner. All after marriage, we say, though, as Christians, all right, we don't want those who are not in that relationship to feel neglected or as outcasts. But we want to say that as Christians, we need to follow the biblical perspective. And in the same Bible, it also says to ask and it shall be given unto you. So this is what people are doing, right? They're asking and getting knowledge. So in the same way, if you know you need a spouse, like maybe that woman, we don't really know the full picture of her. She really needed some sexual release in some way, right? That wasn't satisfied by whatever she was doing. It's more than likely that we will get an answer from the good Lord if we take time and ask.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you for that, Dr. Johnson.
No, I mean, I really want to thank Dr. Johnson tonight because I want the viewers to understand something here. The medical side of this is so important tonight as Dr. Johnson speaks. And with that example that Sister Althea gave about that woman, you have some people, Dr. Johnson, that then just greedy for sex. Then they have no medical condition that required them to use a sex toy. And I'm glad when they say you are not telling anybody that they get license or green card or green light to go and buy these things. Some people just have bad behaviors where sex is concerned, right? What I want to know, how damaging it is to reproductive cycle, about odor from the vagina and all of these things. These toys, because I never born a Christian. I never born a Christian. I just give my life to God just that idea. Yeah. So I would have had experience where you're going to a girl to have sex intercourse and the odor just kill you, just drop you off. Or likewise, men. I've heard girls talk about men that they go to put themselves with and they nearly drop them and dead, right? So we want to know, my question tonight, how damaging is sex toy to the organs? That's part A. Part B, how damaging it is mentally, because I know of instances where women expect the man to perform as the battery dildo and a blood erect the man penis. And when the man ejaculate, it done. The complaint same ejaculate and in gone sleep and all of that, right? So we want to know why a man sleep after ejaculation and how damaging can the sex toy be to the organs or mentally.
Okay. So based on your question, Brother Journal, damage depends on like overuse as well as improper use, let's say. That's usually when you have damage. So if the vibrator cuts, as I said, and there's an injury, it needs to heal. So in order for it to heal, for sure, the person has to stop. They have to get the area cleaned. If they didn't have the instrument clean before, the tool or the toy clean before, they could even get an infection because, you know, some persons too, they do certain things, but they're kind of embarrassed too in following through with what they need to do. So I think that's where you can have the most damage if you have improper use and you leave it instead of getting attention. You mentioned in terms of the odor. Now, of course, those men or the person that has an odor, they normally should be able to pick it up. Once their sense of smell is normal, a person can do it for themselves. And then others around them, when they pick it up, you know, if they really love the person, they really need to communicate it so that they can get some help. That's if the person is not noticing it. Now, sometimes these odors are really accompanied by like vaginal discharges. And this is not only if there's a sex toy. It can also happen for different reasons as well too. All right, so really and truly, if there's an odor, if there's a discharge, those could even be a sign of a sexually transmitted infection. And sometimes it doesn't have to be sexually transmitted. It could just be a genital infection, all right? And remember too, once anything abnormal is there, you really need the proper care for it, okay? there is the normal daily washing that we do. Around the menses, the woman actually needs to be changing her pad more often, even when she's wearing her underwear. If she sweats, even because of excitement, or even the male, and it's not changed, that woman can develop, or man, even just fungal infection, which also need to be monitored. So you may not get an odor, but you'll get a rash or some other form. So these things are not just because of the use of sexual toys. So there's damage with sexual toys, but there's also damage if there are conditions without sexual toys that are left untreated. So the damage is just as bad if you have conditions, whether or not you're using a sexual toy, or you notice something and you're using a sexual toy. So the sexual organ is a very important organ, just like every organ in the body, but even more important to both the person and their spouse in terms of that sexual pleasure that's needed. So the thing to do is to get help if there's something abnormal there. And Brother Jonah, even though we were talking about sex toys, and I'm focusing a little more on the genitalia, the breast are a very important organ, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's the play of the spouse that discovers breast cancer in the woman, you know, these two organs. And you can have cancer also in the male breast as well. So play is good. And with the play, if anything abnormal is noted, or even just by the side from screening, because as women, we need to know that it's very important to check the breasts monthly when the woman has her menses. We don't recommend sexual intercourse when the woman has the menses, right? And the reason is because there's a higher likelihood of picking up an infection. We also don't recommend, if a person has a cut in that area, sexual intercourse, or even a discharge. And this is whether or not there is a toy. So if there's a toy, definitely these are important to stop. So looking at the mental side now. So there's a problem if the person is unable to stop. There's a problem if the person is having a preference to the toy than their partner, and they're married people. Okay? So when you have a problem, all hope is not lost, especially if we are Christian people and we know a God exists, right? There are solutions. So you deal with the solution. Habits are difficult to break. So first of all, we want our young people on the show and the people who haven't bought the toys to try not to develop the habit. That's why I also said in terms of masturbation previously when I was on a program, same thing I'll say for the sex toys, you know, you have to moderate it. If you're going to get started, you have to realize it can't be to a point where this is happening every day, every week, and then all of a sudden you can't stop. There are addiction specialists that are possibly needed, not only for tobacco dependence or other drug dependence, but may even be needed for persons in terms of sex, whether with or without toys, right? And it all has to do with how people manage, how people cope. So it's very important if people realize things are getting out of hand, or friends or family realize it, they try and organize a method of help before it gets too late. You know, there's an old saying, my mom has always said it, once there's life, there's hope. So whatever situation anybody is in, and more so, this is a program that started by some powerful men and women of God. You understand? People, intercessory prayer is a powerful thing. So no matter what point you're at, mentally, you know, every chain can be broken. Sometimes, depending on the person's history and what they're involved in, if there's an addiction with the sex toy, you're going to need some extra help. Okay? So in addition to prayer, counselors, I mean, I don't do that much counseling as I do health disaster preparedness now. So I will try and help somebody, you know, I will try and help a friend, but there comes a point when we as doctors realize there's time for referral. So I may need the help of a psychologist. You may need the help of a psychologist. I'll be honest with you. When I was at the level of A levels, I needed a counselor more often. And when I was in university, some persons, unfortunately, were trained, go have sex and let out the tension. And they obeyed that counsel. It was counsel to them because it came from a good person. And they may have a sex problem, meaning just like tobacco, we know persons also, they may start it in a rough period. And after those 21 chain smokes, some of them cannot break it cold turkey, right? What I'm saying is the mental problem or mental challenge or mental damage with sex toys is when the persons have a problem breaking it or giving their partner that preference instead of the toy, all right? So there can be different levels of damage, but I want to say, as I mentioned, that there's always hope. All right? If you recognize you're having a challenge, get help. Not only the discussions, but someone that you trust, also someone that knows how to pray consistently as well. There is hope.
Two more things from my side, Dr. Johnson, because I'm asking according to the texts, the calls, and stuff that I get. Some of these people are here, but they're afraid to ask.
Yes.
Right? Two more, and because of your time short, you have to be compacting or condensing them as I also. Anal sex. You have some Christians and others who are not Christian who believe that it is okay. They don't think that there's a medical side effect to it. They don't think, yes, spiritually we know it is wrong, right? But there are some people who think that if there is sex and don't go anal, they can't be pleased and all of that. That is one, right? Mm-hmm. The second one is married couple who always constantly fighting, talking down to each other. What is the medical implication when they do come together to have sex? Penis can't stand up, vagina dry, can't get lubricated on its own. They're not feeling nothing much because there's too much fight, there's too much tension. From a medical point of view, what does that weigh on the mind? So the two part is the anal sex, or medically dangerous it is. We know spiritually it's a no, that's an exit, right? But for those who think it's okay, because they might not be Christians, and those Christians who have no conscience and think it's okay, right, to play up in a doodle bag and all of that, and also the married couple that constantly fighting, and when they go to have sex, nothing now happen. Lazarus dead and River Jordan dry.
Okay, very good questions. Brother Journal, I want to say that while you were talking, one of the things I forgot to mention with breaking any addiction or habit, you always need something to replace it by. I just want to say that point before I answer your question, because I was speaking about persons counseling, but in the counseling, it takes time, but a healthy replacement or a good replacement is important, because that usually is a good way. And as I said, maybe some help will be needed. Now for your question, I'm going to go in order of the married couples that are fighting. You see, adjusting, it's a difficult period, just like how we're adjusting to COVID-19. So see me and come live with me, because those of us that are Christians, most of us only live with that partner after we're married. We may see them and we see all the good sides, and, love just makes us talk all the sweet things. And, it's just easy because we get a chance to, where you don't have to be in the same house with the person. When you get married, you start to notice things you didn't see before. Sometimes, to ensure that you can enjoy your married life, it's very important to be careful what you do with the tongue, what you do with the mouth, what you do with the finger, what you do with your facial expressions. Because as you are learning these new things about your partner, you will also learn what ticks them off, what they like, what they dislike. Sometimes too, even when you're talking to each other, you may hear something that's not what they said, just like with other persons. So you have to be very careful to even inquire, and even how you inquire and where you inquire and when you inquire. Marriage is a beautiful thing, but just like any relationship, it takes hard work for it to be successful and you to enjoy it. And, you know, I can't help referring to the Bible because that's the book that works for me, right? You can't afford to go to sleep angry. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. And to be honest, forgiveness, that's another thing. So it's very important for that question, in terms of answering it, that you realize that you're two different people from two different backgrounds, sometimes not only different personality, but different nationality. You understand? And a whole heap, a lot of different persons, in other words, for proper English, have influenced you to the point before your marriage, and other people are going to be influencing you even after you're married. So communication is important, and understanding your spouse, accepting your spouse, appreciating your spouse, not being hurt or sensitive too easily, and recognizing too when you're under tension and maybe you need to, you know, breathe out is so important. And realizing that your spouse's body is yours and your body is your spouse's, so that you're not locking shop. You understand? Things like that. And also you have to be very careful what you say. If you can't call your spouse a bitch, but you can call him a poodle. It's a nice name, but don't call him a dog. You understand? You have to be very careful what you say. And if it comes out, because we're human, I'm not going to pretend that I don't do things wrong. After 20, how many years? Well, God, right now I can't remember. I still do things wrong, right? But what I'm saying is, once you realize you're wrong, don't bother prolong it. Don't be wrong and strong. Apologize. Sometimes the person may not even be able to accept it because the hurt is there. But some people too, they say the makeup is sweeter. Well, you have to go and do the treat. But don't do these things intentionally in terms of hurting, because just as a doctor, we have to take care of wounds, same way the person, you don't know how they will have to heal with their wounds. Once you see, you follow.
No, go ahead. Before you leave the mental side of it, I have one more thing to say before you go on to the Popoli kind of
thing. The other one. Okay, all right. So what you have to do, you have to set an environment in order to ensure that your sexual encounters will be gratifying, will be amusing, because really and truly, that's a tension reliever for some of us. It works very well for me. You know, my husband knows how to satisfy me, and I pray to God every day to satisfy him. You know, men don't talk that much, but at least from what he has said so far, I pray for me that it continue that way, right? So what I'm saying is, we don't always agree, but if we disagree, sometimes we just have to agree to disagree, all right? And just understand that in terms of even sometimes when the other partner or may want sexual intercourse and you may feel hurt, well, if you have to talk about it first, whatever you have to do, try set the environment and let the other person understand. And you need to be somebody that listens. All of us, we like to be listened to. So let us sometimes put ourselves in the other person's position. So your spouse may come, you're not up to it. You may genuinely have a headache. Paracetamol is a good pain reliever, not only for COVID-19 vaccine, for headaches, if you don't have an allergy or so on. Paracetamol, also some of us like candles. Some of us like quiet music. Some of us may need to say to our partner, well, I'm going to need a little longer foreplay, or I'm not ready yet if he's ready. And, sometimes the spouse may not listen or so, but you try from knowing your spouse, make that spouse listen. So you have to try the right methods. And prayer works too. God has a way of working supernaturally as well, but you need to communicate. You shouldn't have problems with just impotence or so on due to emotional things if you follow those little tips. Unless, let's say, there's a medical problem or a really high stress situation. And then even if you have that high stress situation, you can tell your spouse what you think you'd want. Communicate it to help you get into the groove or what you didn't like. And, so I hope that helps. You said before I move on, Brother Journal?
Yes, Sister Dr. Johnson. It's not much men outspoken as I am. I will talk or ask question, right? I know many men that they just cannot get an erection without an extra long foreplay. And who I think of me, go and think of me. Because if I didn't mean, I got to tell Dr. Johnson, say I'm me. You see the levels, right?
Yeah.
But as you rush along there about nothing, Uber. But I have a responsibility before we close any topic we discuss, that most as possible to get question answered. Women don't like to eat right. We don't like to take care of ourselves. And we feel it's just eating is the way we carry ourselves, the type of clothes, how much boxes, all of that we wear, the way we work. Some men work hard, then just walk, and when then go home in a bed, then can't walk. All of these other things. I'm asking from a man point of view, Dr. Johnson, what are some of the causes? Be it overwork, be it intimidated, a man have a sexy wife, like call me look for Rachel now. I know say boy may have gray hair and she don't start gray yet. Yeah, and all of them something me starting 20 years down the line. So when time me 70, she just in at the prime of she whatever, and probably me can't do nothing. All of these things. Does these things weigh on us and show up in our sex drive? I'm just asking so that we get clarity, and vice versa, the woman. What are some of the things that would cause a woman not to? I mean, you just go over a few of them, right? But I know many men, that the erection is the problem. They're afraid to go to a doctor. They're afraid to talk to somebody about it, and they diagnose it themselves. Yeah, and most of the time the diagnosis is wrong. What would you say to us men, or to a wife that can talk to her husband after this program tonight? You can't get Willie.
Okay. Well, for sure, sometimes if you have an uncontrolled chronic condition, you can genuinely have a problem with your erection. Okay? So the thing would be still to encourage you to visit and get your checkup. We know that most men don't. And when they come, because of that, we've always been saying we need to find ways to help them get through quickly and effectively. Because, sometimes they can have things that slowly would cause them death. Okay? And, this is death in itself, just in a specific organ, right? So that you also have even things like self-confidence, lack of self-confidence. You have, just negative thinking as well. You can have guilt, from certain situations and, not really having anybody to talk about it with, or just being shy to talk because you may not have anybody confidential, But that's why confession is good for the soul. If you have something bothering you, just to find the right person to talk with and, place as well. And also to get some positive thoughts running, okay? Now, for persons who do have problems, because there are others that have problems, and even with controlling their condition, it has to do not only with medications, but also diet, as well as other things in their lifestyle, like exercise. There are also drugs that can help. Everybody knows about Viagra by now, and there are others. So you're not going to get them over the counter. It's better they're prescribed, and it's better they're used how they should be used. And sometimes, as doctors, we also have to do trials, meaning we have an assessment and we're still in the process of making a diagnosis while we wait on tests. So sometimes things take a little longer than others, you know, but even tests sometimes take funds and time to actually go to the laboratory. And so in the interim, basically what I'm saying is you still need to be assessed. Most places have public health centers. It's a little harder and longer to get through. But if you don't have public health centers, you may have other persons in terms of counselors, etc., other contacts that can be made that can help you in the interim get to the track for you to have your normal sexual function. I hope that's sufficient.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. And, you know, you always have to be hopeful. You know, that helps. Once there's life, there's hope. Just you getting the right help, talking to the right people. Then concerning the anal sex, very, very touchy area. But you know, what I have to say is, for those who decide, no matter what anybody says, spiritually or whatever, and they want to explore, you have dams, you have anal dams and protection. Being a medical doctor, for those who are literal homosexuals, it's not that we're telling them to go ahead, but we're saying until they actually become a Christian, let's protect them from HIV, and let's protect them from, any form of sudden death, because HIV isn't the only illness that they can get. Let's try and prevent them from getting sexually transmitted infections, and then they are a group that's marginalized, so they may not even get the cure. So if you notice, those who push the HIV prevention programs, the sexually transmitted infection programs, we are aware of the protection for sex using the anus, which is a very dirty area. Let me say, because it's so dirty, one of the things that we try and encourage our young women to do, when you're wiping the vagina, you always wipe it from the front to the back. Because if you wipe from the back where the anus, you may think you didn't put the toilet paper as far back as the anus, and you come forward to the vagina. The germs from the anus can infect the vagina. So it's a very dirty area. So I'm just going to inform you about the dams, right? Because for those, as I said, who are married, what can I say? I already said it. Your bodies belong to each other. If you're going to engage that way, and there's nothing I can say to convince you, at least let me tell you, keep healthy. Get the dams, because dams are there to protect the anus themselves, and may God help you with the rest, because I'm not here to judge. In my experience in Jamaica, I've also been trained by these LGBT groups, because you just have to try and help people. That's what we're there to do. And you know, there are some young people who have gotten into these situations not because they wanted to. I've heard information where even a male went over by his male friend, and there was where he was introduced. So we just have to be careful with our children, try and educate them. This is not the way, for sure. But if they're in trouble, let them know they can come to us and get that help. And the same way for people who come to us already in that situation, we try and work them through the situation. So that's what I have to say, as honestly as I can say it. And
yeah, thank you. Because I know many wives that right now on the brink of confused, because husband telling them that's a fantasy. And I'm saying to them that, you know, I don't have a problem sitting down and talk with the both of you. Husband don't want to come forward, because I'm saying to wife, probably there is about him and demon trying to attach himself to your son. Because popoli, whether it be a male, female, dog, goat, cow, it's just, you know, and I'm glad how you emphasize the dirtiness of it, right? I'm really glad, because I think that's where the eye blinded, right? If I go to the toilet and I do, me careful on my wife, you know, coming all my finger touch that is reality. It's easier for me to clean the dog kennel and deal with it than me deal with myself. One of the gentlest time of my life is when we go to the bathroom, ride the bike, and I wipe after. Very gentle with that, seriously. So I know wives that are traumatized. The husband are bringing this to them, and I know a husband that are traumatized. That wife are making the suggestion. It's something that they do. It's a bad habit. Pastor Johnson did a great job last week when he spoke about some things that are looked upon as being demonized. It's just bad habits, right? And then it graduates into other things, open doors into other things. I believe some people who are introduced to these things, right, think it's okay according to how it was presented to them, and then it became an habit, and then it opened a door. Right? So, I mean, the dirtiness of it, because I think one time there's a doctor of mine, friend of mine in Ultraris, Dr. Crooks, right? A very good friend of mine. And he was talking on IRFM about it. And he's telling them that there are some little worms in the popoli that your eyes can't see naturally. And when a penis insert in that, it come out with them, and sometimes they take that same dirty wormy penis and poke it into a vagina, right? And then them break up, then gone them ways, and then an innocent man now come like the girl, put themselves for the girl, and a lot of things. And that is why I am asking these questions, because some people might feel uncomfortable to ask these questions, right? I hear a wife tell me, say, she asked her husband for oral sex, and him say that it will give mouth disease, right? That naturally the mouth never meant to go there, saying we get disease. So a lot of adults out there unlearn about a lot of things, and that is why we're glad for the medical section of this. Not just with, I like how you said, not just with the sex toys, but see them as organs, right? And organs being overused can be damaged. A lot of people out there, Dr. Johnson, that are, go ahead.
Just for information, maybe persons know, but there's also a dam for the mouth as well. Just like how there's the condom, there's also a dam for the mouth. Because, you know, the women that will do the blow job, they can protect their mouth. And the man himself, if he wants to have a dam. I'm just saying that because if you don't know, you don't know. And I'm here to ensure that.
We really thank you. Turn over to Althea, because I guess there's some stuff in chat, right? But
Yes.
Trust me, I learned a lot tonight, and I know a lot of people get a lot to answer. So the man them when Lazarus dead and you drop it on the Bible and nothing happen, go do some exercise, start strict diet, and take care of yourself. A woman no want a man when he take off him back says she have to cover her nose and all of them things there. And a man no want a woman should take off her bingo, her tongue, or whatever you want to call it. No, we have to take care of ourselves higher and help each other get there higher. Over to you, Minister Garden.
All right. Dr. Johnson, I really like your hour. Thank you for sticking with us. Shalene Campbell is saying, I believe if we take the time to learn each other and be patient with your partner in order to understand and communicate with each other, it would lessen the need for artificial items. Yes, and go ahead. I didn't hear that.
I'm just saying I am in agreement with her too. You know, sometimes we're just afraid to talk with each other. We also need a little help for how to talk with each other, you know, because people have different issues.
Right. And I think too, it's because of people's upbringing at times. No one ever talk about sex. It's something that, you know, people go forward. They never talk talked about either. So that can put struggle on relationship. So question, say for example, we know that people need air to survive, people need water to survive, people need food to survive, and these are all natural aspects of life, right? They're all natural, right? So sexual intercourse now is also a natural aspect of life. It's something natural that God made, right? Now, what kind of effect can it have on someone medically? Let's say, for example, the lack thereof. Or also, on the other hand, what are some of the benefits other than, just having pleasure with partner and stuff like that? Is there any medical benefit?
Dr. Johnson is frozen at your question. That's how you were frozen when you heard about the bullet. Yes, yes. But until Dr. Johnson come back, that's a very good question coming from a recycled virgin.
So while we wait for that question, don't know if she heard it. Rochelle was replying to Shalene and saying, this also requires honesty and realistic expectation for each other. So when I saw that, I was kind of hoping that she would even come and sit and talk about some of all that. That would be very good. Rochelle, Uba? Yes.
One thing I know about you, you're really known for beg goodbye. But I heard from my same doctor friend Dr. Crooks in Orchard. He says that for men, the more a man have sex, is the longer I'm sure you. I don't know. I tend to believe it because I'm very old and I'm not looking old, right? So I honestly believe there are some serious medical implications from too much sex and all of that. I remember when I was in my 20s, doctor told me that if I don't ease up on having sex, I would be a vegetable by the time we reach my 30s. You see what I'm saying? So I honestly, I know there's some internet problems going on over by the Johnson's community, right? And we will get her in. But I learned a lot from Dr. Johnson's session. Seriously speaking, I learned a lot from it because the material, some people now look at the material and go buy one little feeble dildo, right? One little feeble bullet, not bullet for a gun, right? I have to make sure, remind you of that. It's not a Desert Eagle or a 9mm Magnum bullet, right? Some persons go and just buy these things, and sometimes they buy it because they're ashamed to go to the toy store to pick out the proper thing, so they just go and grab something quick because they don't want nobody to see them, right? It's reality. The part I love is about the mental part of it. One of the things she says, and that's what's happening to a lot of men, right? They feel inferior. They feel inferior. Hello? When they really realize that my wedding never happen, right? Cousin abracadabra, then can't hear it because you can't make them people that hear what I'm going to tell you. Abracadabra, then can't hear it. When reality strike me, say me really never get married. I mean, reach in the month of June. Hello? First thing, the girl tried to trick me. The girl tried to trick me. Let's marry on your birthday. And I say, yes. Yeah. One night, I go lie down and sleep. And before I fall asleep, self said, journal. I look over my shoulder. Self said, journal. I look over and she shut me and said, journal, get up. You realize what you say yes to? I say, what? You got married for your birthday. I say, yes, so what's wrong with that? Self said, yeah, idiot. I want birthday gift you go get. You get one gift for birthday and anniversary. Yeah? So the first wake up call that me get. So me call the girl and me say, hello, change that date. Change that. I said, come we married on the 11th. But by the time we did 10 on the 9th. You hear that over there? I bet I'm in the time on the night. I'm gonna need to send no more. Right? But watch the levels now. One of the things when reality strike me that I'm getting married is that journal, you have to be true to this girl. So I go to her and I tell her, I say, don't think because you see me have 9 pitney, it means that me a bad boy in a bed, you know. Hello, most of my children can't see my pants and mine here one gun in my hand. You see the levels. So I don't know nothing about foreplay. Is it a brand new game? Where do I bought that game? Yeah? I buy that game. Thank you. Where does I go? Me know I do. Where? And get that game. Right? Me tell her straight. Me say, well, here the levels. If you want to see stars for your honeymoon, I will take you as close as possible. So she feels say, yeah, me I go practice that thing I do. So when we board the flight, I got Jamaica and reach altitude 36,000 feet. Me say, look good if you see a star. Because it's the closest you're going to get to a star. Yeah? But I tell her, I don't know nothing about 4-play, I don't know nothing about 3-play, 2-play, or 1-play. I mean, if you do jump on a bike, and come off. You see the levels? I was honest. I was open. Yeah? Because some things that some man shy to talk about, me not shy to talk about that. If me don't know, me just don't know. And me afraid of embarrassment. So me not going to go on like me a big shot, top at the top. And then when me go out, me flap. No, me not in that. They tell you where I'm at. And some men not honest. So that's why when time the woman drop them clothes, then can't take off them pants. Because Lazarus dead. You must be honest with the woman. Yeah? Some man run down sexy woman and can't rise to the occasion because them a think say, boy, when time then dead one next man I go marry her. Make use of life. You're alive. No, you're not dead yet. She have to deal with that when death come. The next thing is how we talk to each other. Yeah? When Rachel and I just get married and we just have to figure out being different background, different environment in which we grow and all of these other things. A lot of things was said and some night we got bed, we well want to touch each other, but we don't know how because we know the things that was said is reality speaking. So there's a lot of homework here tonight. On the medical side, some of you men need to just apologize to the woman for all the things you said. And some of you women need to apologize to the man for all the things you said. And fix things. Sex nice. It nice, it nice, it nice. That natural blacks, no remember where you get it from. You know that song, the Alti, I bet you don't know that song there. You know, always test me a morning time with song. I bet you don't know the natural black song, Brother Natural Blacks. Yeah? You know Brother Natural Black song? I mean, I remember where me get the loving from, but it's nice. And when I hear a Jamaican sing about loving, it means sex. You don't know that song there? You know, me no remember where me get the loving from, but it's nice. You know the one pan bed, pan floor against wall. You know that one there? You have to go
I hear you with it all the time.
Abracadabra, you have to go practice them sitting there for your wedding, you know, my girl. You have to go practice them thing there, you know.
Pastor, listen. Rochelle, who boy said, don't worry, we'll play together. So you go on. You go on.
Things are going
But big things are going. Yes, and to be honest with you, sir, to be really honest with you, my mind has never gone in this area. Never, right? And when the topic came about 4 weeks ago,
children.
Sir, I'm talking about the topic that we're talking about,
Oh,
sir.
I think
Sex
you mean
toys.
sex. Your mind has never gone sex era.
Sir. So when the topic came about 4 weeks ago, that's when I started researching and stuff like that. And, you know, some of the pictures and stuff like that, because I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at some of the stuff, I'm like, what is that? Like, I cannot wrap my mind around it and I don't want to really. I'm like, what does people do with that? It doesn't make any sense. But it's information. It's knowing that though I might not have these things, dealing with these things, there are people who this is their lifestyle.
And some of them big, you know, Papa Jesus. Some of them, when you see them, you know, you feel it for whoever buy them.
Well, the people that go and buy, so they must know what they want, right? But people are honestly struggling. People are being damaged. People are being hurting. People, they're using these things because why? They want to numb a pain in one area, and now they're causing more pain in their life. It's like somebody was molested and they figure, okay, this is the avenue, or being promiscuous or having lots of boyfriends or lots of girlfriend or whatever is the answer to their problem. But what they're actually doing is sinking themselves deeper and deeper in other problem, in other bondages. They're just sinking themselves deeper. So, I mean, it's been very informative.
No, trust me. I have a biological brother, and in 1995, we found out by then he was going about 9 years on drugs, never have a clue. And it's one day he just decided to open up to me. By this, I was an evangelist preaching the gospel. And he said to me, Jerry, I'm using drugs for umpteen years now. And he explained to me why. He said, the first time I used this thing, I got a feeling that every time I buy to use it, I try to get back that feeling. And then not recognizing that my life has been wasted and perished, and then I reached to a point of no return. I used most of my trip flying back into Jamaica between Trinidad and Barbados and Jamaica. It's not for my children, it's for him. Because then he would steal people things to buy the drugs to get the feeling. And then I would have to go down to stop people from trying to kill him and pay back people. But one of the things I respect with him, why I continue, I put him into rehab about 17 times or more. Yeah? And why I do it, people say, why you're patient with Jolly? The thing is that with him, you see, when I go and him say, pay them back, you know, say, take them things. But it's when he tell us, me never take it, don't pay them, trust me, he's been real. And that alone gave me a spot for him. And I remember it's when he gave his life to the Lord. And I'm moving from Kingston to a rehab in Ocho Rios. Jolly gave his life to the Lord, now engaged, and to be married. Because what? Somebody never give up on him. It's the same thing with the sex toys. Some people get addicted because somebody talk about it, then go try it, or go over somebody's yard, go try it, and they get hooked on the feeling because somebody will see them sneak a man or a woman through the door. So then just drop that in a them bucket, which is the handbag, and just carry it in, lock them door, and do what they do until they can't come off of it. Then they get married, and the marriage starts showing some serious problem. And they refuse to face the reality that now they put themselves at a place and it is now damaged the desired life to be married and live happy ever after. The truth is some people are selfish in the marriage. They only think about themselves in the marriage. Yeah? So it's sex when they want sex. It's laugh when they want to laugh. It's cuddle when they want to cuddle. They don't consider the other party. They don't do none of these things. So that helps starve the sex life. Yeah? I had an ex-girlfriend once, Naga call her name, she's a popular girl, come to Jamaica for a performance, and she and I decide that we're going to get it on. And after a while, this girl back out one little mini suitcase. Poopa, Jesus, hello. After me see me get inferior, I was going good for a couple of days well. But when me see she back out, that me can't match them, there's something there. So you know what happened? It killed everything right there. So some women talk to their men about their sex life with their toys and then come with unrealistic expectation. Expect the man to perform as the toys, and that in itself kill the man. Yeah? Some man kill themselves by talking down to the woman. Yeah? Always in a fight with the woman. And then when time forget liquor flut out, then feel bad. So in feel blood, no blood now go down there. Yeah. So nothing can happen. Yeah. So he come out of the room singing, no blood no dead down there is reality. So from Dr. Johnson, we learned tonight that we have to go back to the drawing board. Men and women, we have to go back to the drawing board. Yeah? Because we have to talk about these things. Some people know what, me know Christians will tell me so when they're married, and for them woman, come in at the bed, them are put penis everywhere. Them never say penis. They say them are put body everywhere. Nose, eye, throat, pupoli, everywhere. That man have a demon. And some women stay the same way too. I honestly believe that some of them reach to the height of demonic possession. Yeah? Sex life is supposed to be enjoyed between two parties. And it's obvious Dr. Johnson, internet is giving problem. And it's not just today. It's with all our pastors' meetings and everything that is going on, right? But I'm telling you, tonight, oh my God, me I go watch the replay because it's a lot in it. It's a lot in it. Over to you, Minister God.
All right, so we're just about ready to wrap up. Leslyn A. St. Helen is saying, who say Christian can have fun? Great topic. So to that, Rochelle responded, yes, Leslyn, the church failed with educating their people about these things. They only do it and don't talk about it. So persons, especially the youth, are left to find out for themselves, and they find out the wrong way. And I was actually thinking about that as well before I saw the comment there, that if the church would educate people about like these things, I mean, maybe some churches do, right? But if they should educate people about these things instead of putting people down because of their custom, because of their religion, you know, and be open and talk about it. Because some pastors, you will not, I mean, they would rather to go to their grave than to openly speak about sex. My pastor, Pastor John Taylor, I know he will do it. He will talk about sex. I mean, I remember a few years back when he said that, you know, the Lord tell him to go on this subject. And there's a lot of people who have a lot of sex toys and the problem it's causing in their life spiritually. And they need to bring it come so that they can get burned. And I was thinking to myself, well, if God said that, God know that it's because people do have these things. But the magnitude of the amount that would have come, I never thought that that would have happened. You know, maybe a couple or whatever, but there were bags and bags of stuff. I mean, I'm not going to open it to look at anything, but they laid on the altar because that's what he said. So you see the bags, they're tied up and, you know, it's bags of stuff. And I remember one night when they had this big drum on at the back of the church or at the side of the church and put them all there and, you know, burn them and stuff like that, you know. So I know he will talk about these things openly, but the majority of the churches, they're not going to talk about these things. And people will be left uneducated doing some things that they think it's okay, because a lot of people, they will say, you know what, as long as they're not having intercourse with a person, then that should not be sin because it's not a person. So they're using a thing and that thing should be okay. Rochelle is saying God created sex, so the best place to learn about it is in the church. That's right. And the godly way it should be done and with whom. That's right. So, you know, I'm glad we can bring this to the forum and talk about these things. And we trust and hope that everyone out there has been impacted in some way or another, have learned something new. You might say, okay, I've never used it, I will never use it, but you never know when the day will come that someone who is using it will, need your shoulder to cry on because they're saying, they're going through this situation and they need help. And then you will already be informed and ready to help them through it. Leslyn is saying, and we are the ones that should be teaching them. May God help us as we go forward, that we can really educate our people, thus we may recover those we have lost and keep those that God have entrusted in our care. And amen to that. Amen to that. Pastor, let me apologize on behalf of Reverend Fiona for not being here. I think I briefly saw her on chat. Yes, she made that little face, but I know she had something to do. She did message me and let me be aware of that. We were hoping that she would have been able to finish on time to be on set, but that's all right. We do thank you for the 3 weeks that you came on set and you were here. Yes. We appreciate that. We appreciate those whom you've told to tune in and watch and, give their feedback and all that. We do appreciate that. For Pastor Johnson, we know that he had a previous engagement and he was unable to be on set. And for Dr. Johnson, who is having some technical difficulties and was unable to come back on. So just to say, we do appreciate each and every one of you for coming in on set to make this topic worthwhile speaking about and providing help and education to many who are out there in cyber world. Okay, all right. So go ahead, Pastor Redeem.
Yes, we really give God thanks tonight, and it's only a pity that Dr. Johnson internet cut out. But however, you can trust us that we will continue to come with these topics to deal with issues. What we want to do next week is that we're going to be doing some prayers and all of that. But what we want person, the person may not come out and say, pray for me because I am having this issue or that situation. They might not. So what we want person to do, come out and just tell us your view, your thoughts, and areas that you think we should be praying for others or praying towards, because we must deal with these things, right? We must deal with them. We must get past them. People must learn self-control and all of that, the right behavior and right, all of them stuff there, right? We want to pray also for marriages, because we have quite a bit of married people here and a lot of things been going on with them. The week after that, we're going to be talking about homosexuality in the church, right or wrong. You see what I'm saying? We know we're going to get some licks with that because some Batman pastors too, yes, and some Batty girl pastors too. And then like when we talk about them something there, it's just the truth. It's the levels, but we're going to talk about these things and we will be coming from biblical perspective with this, because it is wrong, especially in the church. It is wrong. Yes. And that is why the other day they run all kind of check on me. And when Dr. Johnson said them have to go check the prostate, I said, Doctor, I'm not ready. Because, yes, Mr. See, we can't even call it. And me tell them straight, me not ready. Because no doctor now put no finger in my poly. Yes, to the levels. And then she said, don't have to. You can take a blood test and do it. Praise the Lord. I welcome the needle. Because no doctor not finger in me. Not happening. Yes, they might like it and come look for me after. Yes, in the levels. It's just the truth. I know people don't like hear pastors talk like this, but a reality. Why you think you have some pastors that take them prostate every month, every week? They like the tickle. It's just the truth. So, homosexuality, wrong. God make Adam and Eve. Not Eve and Yvette. Not Adam and Steve. It's wrong. God said, take a pair of every creature into the ark, male and female. You see the levels? So, me know they might have bar we and black, we have it wrong. So, we are going to talk about that too. And it pack up in a church, pastor, boy, papa worship team 5-6 years, and he still a walk. I try out sexy the sister and all of that. If every man in Christ is a new creature. Am I right, Minister Garden?
That's correct.
I'm see you take off your glasses to that one day because you want them to say you're serious man.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating and it keeps sliding down. So I just figure, okay, forget it.
Go ramp with my producer. But it's true. We have a lot of these things to deal with in the church world, and we are going to deal with them. Yes? We are going to deal with them. So I say to you, whatever you learn from tonight, put it in action. Yes? If you have to apologize to your spouse, apologize to your spouse. You see what I'm saying? If you have to get medical help, get medical help. But whatever you do, these 4 weeks should not go in vain because we step out of the box. We're getting a lot of licks about it, you know. Now some pastors right now begs with me, they can't stand it. They're not feeding me or close me. They can't stand it. I mean, know them are never born Christian. I mean, know some of them fornicate and adulterate until them get old. The only thing that turn up on them body right now, their eyelash. Yeah? If Willie could have up, they would have still had them thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they can't talk about it because they're not passing. Yes? I want to thank Thursday Night Hot Topic production team. Yes? Our technical director, Kean, and our you know, black frame, you know, whole year. Yeah? She know me talk about the line of teeth, so she had to laugh with her mouth closed. But me see how long she can get that done. Eh? Now wait to see. Man, you choke. Thank you. Our producer, Alta Marie. It's always when I believe this topic was divinely led to your spirit, believe me. I believe it was a divine intervention with this topic. And that is why when you come with any topic at all, I don't question it. I just work it because that's what I'm here to do. You see what I'm saying? Producer, give you a topic, you work the topic. You see the levels. So for those of you out there, when people say sometimes me come with topic to throw a stone by you, the stone was handed to me by my producer. You see the levels. So if I give me stone, I couldn't throw a stone. Right? So God bless you. Thank you. And over to you.
Amen. Amen. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Redeemed to the world. We appreciate what you're doing. Yes, we're so happy that you're one of those persons who will just say it as it is. You just say it. And that's it. It really doesn't matter. You know, as long as people, the thing is, you may have 100 people watch it and 99 disagree. It could be because they're in it, because they enjoy it, because they would love to do it and can't get to do it, or whatever reason they'll disagree. But the one person who it has been a blessing to, the one person who will call and cry and say, sir, you know what? You touch an area that I know I need help. Even if it's one person that this helped, then it would have been worth it. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we are dealing with souls. And it's many different reasons why souls are in bondage. This is only one of them. All right. So we thank you for those of you who joined us from YouTube, those who have joined us from Facebook. Once again, thanks to all the panelists. We appreciate everything that you have done. We appreciate everyone who has taken the time to chat with us in our chat. God bless each and every one of you. Yes, Rochelle Uber said, have a blessed evening, everyone. I trust that you've all had a belly full of education that you can all apply to your lives. God bless. Thank you for that. Yes, so at this time, we are going to say good night, Jumpstart members. Remember, tomorrow, 6 a.m., yes, Mr. George, Pastor Redeemed to the World, will be on our Good Morning Jumpstart. Looking forward to see you next week. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.